Now we are going to talk about master data. Master data. Master data is everywhere. We see master data all around us. For example, if you go to Safeway, you go buy a bunch of products, right? You go buy some soap, you go buy whatever. And then you go to the billing counter, all your items are scanned, and you'll be asked if you have a rewards card. Right? So this is a card that you'll be given whereby your discounts will be cumulatively added. And if you don't have one, they'll give one right away. What does a rewards card have? A rewards card has your name, address, and some other personal details about you that they think are relevant for your purchase. This right here is master data. You can also call it as customer master. Okay, because you're a customer in this case, and Safeway is the company or the vendor which is selling you these products. Another example is when you take this product, let's say you go buy a piece of bread or buy a bottle of milk, and when you go to the counter, these products are scanned, and when they're scanned, just one little scan can reveal a whole bunch of information about that product. What kind of information could that be? Some examples of that information could be product name. For example, bread, a particular model of the bread, sourdough, or plain bread, milk bread, whatever. And then a product description and price for that product, and any discounts that are given on that product, any cumulative discounts that are given on that product because you purchased beyond a certain quantity or value, right? This is master data right here. This is called data related to material, and so it's called material master data. And this, you can call them as pricing master data. So master data is everywhere, really. If you want, I can take another example. We go to Amazon, and you go log in, right? So you have your user ID and password. As soon as you log in, you can go to your account anytime you want. So when you go to your account, you'll have details like name, address. In fact, you can have multiple addresses, like one address in Kansas, one address in Texas, or anywhere you've been. You can store all your different addresses, and you can store your credit cards or debit cards, different credit cards and different debit cards. See, all of this is master data. And in this case, you are the customer, so you can call it as customer master data, right? So these are all common examples of master data that you typically see in B2C environments. All along, we've been only seeing B2C environments, right? The Safeway example or the Amazon.com example. All of these are B2C examples. Let's take a more B2B example. Say HP is a company that's implementing SAP, and the company that's buying from HP is, let's say, Best Buy. Now, Best Buy places an order for, let's say, computers or whatever products that HP sells, and HP creates an order. The order is something like this. It's got a header, right? So it's got a header, and it's got line items. Let's say 1, 2, 3, however many. These are line items. On the header, what kind of information does it have? It has the customer information, of course, and that's Best Buy in this case. The next thing is tax classification. See, commercial customers are taxable, whereas government customers are typically non-taxable. Non-profits are non-taxable also. So taxable, tax classification in this case is yes, taxable. And what kind of a customer is he? Is he a corporate customer, or is he a government customer, or any other type of classification that HP wants to classify their customers as? And in this case, it's a corporate customer, or you can call it a retail customer. And can we ship all the goods together? Yes or no. It's an option that Best Buy gives, right? In this case, being a customer. And address to which we need to ship the goods to. And if there are issues, which phone number to call to, who will be paying for this transaction, where should the bill be sent to. See, these are all things that are captured at the header level. Now, similarly, at the line item level, what do we have? We have details like material. Let's say it's a computer model 101, and the weight is, say, 5 pounds, and the volume is so much. All this information is going to be used in computing the freight, and how the packet should be sent and all that stuff, and which plant is it going to send the goods out of. Let's say it's sent out of the San Francisco plant. And similarly, tax classification. Sometimes some materials are taxable and some materials are not. This set of details at the header level, right, where you say the customer is so and so, his tax classification is so and so, this is the type of customer, and this is where the customer wants to ship the goods to, blah blah blah. You can consider this as data pertaining to the customer, right? And similarly, this is data pertaining to the material. That's it. That you can define that as master data, right? So basically, master data in this case is a bunch of properties related to a customer or a material. So how do we define master data in general? There need not just be customer and material. There are other examples that we are going to see in a moment. So what is master data? So master data is at its very fundamental level a collection of properties of an object. Objects in this case could be customers, materials, vendors, assets, any of these. Also, typically, this kind of data is created only once, meaning you don't create them again and again and again. For example, in the previous case, when Best Buy was created as a customer, you don't create Best Buy again and again and again. It's just one Best Buy and that's it. It's created once, but like I said, it's used again and again, right? And because it's created once, you rarely change it. It's changed occasionally, or it's very rarely changed. Okay, and it's also the main source of data in transactions. You take any transaction, sales order, delivery, billing, purchase order, transfer order, even posting to accounts, any kind of transaction typically has the bulk of the data coming in from the master data. In the previous example, we have seen some data that's coming from the customer master. In this case, all this data is going to come from the customer master. And at the line item level, the data is going to come from the material master. How about some examples of master data? Well, we have already seen some examples, like we have seen customer was one example, so customer master data. And then we have seen material as an example. Material could be a master data. Another example could be vendor. Another example could be pricing master data. Another example is your asset master. And the list goes on and on. There are, like, close to 5 or 10 different types of master data that we typically refer to as master data, although conceptually there are other examples. These are typically represented in ERPs as master data. For the SD consultant, this is the master data that's relevant. Customer. This is the main master data that SD consultant is worried about. An MM consultant is worried about the material master and the vendor master, because they typically own the material master, and vendor master is, of course, primarily the domain of the material master. Pricing condition records are typically taken care of both by SD and MM consultants, even CRM consultants. Asset master is taken care of by the finance consultant, and so on. So these are some examples of master data.